गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तबिंद की। श्री श्री राधा दास बिहारी ललिता विशाखा सखी की। श्री श्री गौ निताय की। सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagvat sevaya bhagavati uttam shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki krishnaya vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitansha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So, I welcome you all. So, yesterday we had completed up till the 4th verse. Any important points from yesterday's discussion? Hearing attitude. What are the main points? Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Before dealing with the external energy of Krishna, we should be aware dealing
And
of
external
Krishna, it's the
potency.
external energy.
Yeah. Yes.
We had seen Griha Medi, the word Medi, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur writes about its enviousness,
Violence.
violence.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
We saw yesterday importance of hearing very nicely, and there we found when hearing stops, the transformation of heart will also stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Harish, we saw the attitude of great person, acharyas, those who have the solution. They are concerned with public general mass of people. Then they have a solution also for that, and they take hard work to apply that solution.
Yeah. They undergo themselves
Yeah.
difficulties to relieve them of their distress. Yes. Anyone else? Yes, Prabhuji.
Even the transcendental questions are itself are enough.
To deliver us. Yes. Yes.
We saw that Parishit Maharaj is not self-absorbed.
Yeah.
The way he asked the question for others, all everyone's benefit.
Yeah.
So that shows his
Even
Krishna.
at the point of that, at such a critical moment, he is not self-absorbed. Very nice. Okay. So now we'll go to the verse number 5. Okay. So verse number 4 says that why this materialistic people, this materialistic life is so boring. Spend the night in sleeping and sex life, spend the day in earning money to maintain the family. From where they get the impetus? So the fourth verse describes the false hopes that these things will provide me security. So we discuss about the security also, a sense why our conditioned soul feels insecure. So dehat kalatadeshu atmasinishu sazapi tesham pramato nidhanam pashyan apina pashyati. So in the verse 2, 3 and 3rd, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, Shukdev Goswami had described what not to hear, not to chant and not to remember. Now verse number 5 will say, then what should one do? Okay. Tasmat Bharat Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smaratavyascha Chitam Bhayam. Yes, Prabhuji.
O descendant of King Bharat, one who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul, the controller, and the savior from all the miseries.
Yeah. So he is saying Tasmat. Why Tasmat? Because for this reason. For what reasons? That a conditioned soul should not spoil his life. So all what he should not hear, chant and remember. For this reason, Bharat Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says there are 3 modifiers in this: Sarvatma, Bhagavan and Ishvara. Tasmat Bharat Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvara Hari. Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smaratavya Ichita Bhayam. So the Sarvatma is used for those, that is, if one hears, one chants and one remembers Sarvatma. Sarvatma means the super soul of all. Abhayam. So he will be relieved of Abhayam. It is for the yogis who want impersonal liberation. So their fear will go down by meditating on this super soul form. Okay. They will be relieved from this fear, whether I will be liberated or not, if they chant, if they hear, and if they remember about the Sarvatma, which is the super soul. Bhagavan. Bhagavan is for those devotees who are on the path of Raganuga Bhakti. Okay. They have fear whether I will develop spontaneous love for Krishna or not. So if they meditate upon Bhagavan, Bhagavan one was with 6 opulences, then their fear will also go away. Their fear of not getting the love of Krishna, that will go away if they chant, hear and meditate upon Bhagavan. Ishvara. Ishvara is for those Vedi sadhakas. So Vedi sadhakas are concerned about their sense control. They are not able to control the senses. But Ishvara is the controller. So they get rid of the fear of coming to their senses if they chant, hear and remember Ishvara. Okay, so these three qualifiers are there. तस्मात् भारत सर्वात्मा भगवान ईश्वरो हरि श्रोतव्य कृतितव्य च स्मर्तव्य च इच्छिता अभयम. Clear? So these three types of fears are taken care of. Okay. Okay. Now in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, if you see in the first paragraph itself, 10-11 lines down. Therefore, one should first of all hear about the Lord. When one has perfectly and scrutinizingly heard, one must glorify his acts and deeds, and thus it will become possible to remember constantly the transcendental nature of the Lord. Okay? You got that line? Someone can start from there. Hearing about?
Hearing about and glorifying the Lord are identical with the transcendental nature of the Lord, and by so doing, one will be always in the association of the Lord. This brings freedom from all sorts of fear. The Lord is the super soul present in the hearts of all living beings, and thus by the above hearing and glorifying process, the Lord invites the association of all in his creation. This process of hearing about and glorifying the Lord is applicable for everyone, whoever he may be, and it will lead one to the ultimate success in everything in which one may be engaged in the providence.
Okay.
There are many classes of human beings: the fruitive workers, the empiric philosophers, the mystic yogis, and ultimately the unalloyed devotees. For all of them, one and the same process is applicable for achieving the desired success. Everyone wants to be free from all the kinds of fear, and everyone wants the fullest extent of happiness in life. The perfect process for achieving this here and now is recommended in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is uttered by such a great authority as Srila Shukdev Goswami. By hearing about and glorifying the Lord, all the person's activities become molded into spiritual activities, and thus all conceptions of material miseries become completely vanquished.
Very nice purport. The potency of hearing and chanting. Whatever we may be doing as per our prescribed duties, this process is applicable for everyone. Fruity workers, empirical philosophers, yogis, devotees, everyone. So Prabhupada is writing in the last line, by hearing about and glorifying the Lord, all persons' activity become molded into spiritual activities. Okay. Sthane Sita Shruti Gatam, it's the devotion series starts with this. So if we have faith in this hearing and chanting, so we can get rid of all of our anarthas. It is so purifying. So Tasmat Bharat Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari. So we can get rid of all material miseries just by taking shelter of hearing and chanting. That's it. Okay. Etavan Sankhya Yoga Abhyam Swadharma Paranishthaya Janmalabha Param Punsa Ante Narayana Smriti. This translation.
The highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty, is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life.
Yeah. So, in a way, in the 5th verse, the Bhagavatam is over. The answer is given. What one should hear, one should chant, what should remember. Bhagavan Ishvara Hari. And now it's a very dogmatic statement. Over, finished. Bhagavatam is completed. But again, there are many people who are Sankhya Yogi, who are Karma Yogi, who are Ashtanga Yogi. What about them? So for them also, their process will get perfection if it leads to remembrance of Narayan at the end of life. Okay. So Prabhupada says the highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. That means Karma Yoga, Sankhya Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, it should lead to Bhakti Yoga. When all these yogis come to know their aim of life, they should end up their Karma Jnana and Ashtanga Yoga and take to Bhakti Yoga. Because only by Bhakti Yoga they can remember Narayan at the end of life. Okay. Now Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the translations in a different manner. He says, for persons fixed in Jnana, Yoga and Karma, gaining such a birth with remembrance of Krishna while rejecting the other processes is the best. Okay, in a way it is the same thing. He says, as soon as a sadhak comes to know of the aim of life, he should reject these lower processes. And Prabhupada is saying, all these lower processes should ultimately lead to Bhakti Yoga, which means remembering Narayana at the end of life. Okay, that is the perfection. Okay, now in this verse also, you can see third line, the existence of Narayan. From here we can read.
The existence of Narayan or the personality of Godhead is not within the jurisdiction of this Mahat Tattva, and as such the name, form, attribute, etc. of Narayan are beyond the jurisdiction of the material world. By the speculation of empiric philosophy, which discern matter from spirit, or by cultivation of mystic powers, which ultimately help the performer to reach any planet of the universe or beyond the universe, or by the discharge of religious duty, one can achieve the highest perfection, provided one is able to reach the stage of Narayana Smriti, or constant remembrance of personality of Godhead. This is possible only by the association of pure devotee, who can give a finishing touch to the transcendental activities of all Jnanis, Yogis or Karmis, in terms of prescribed duties defined in the scriptures. There are many historical instances of the achievement of spiritual perfection, such as that of the Sanakadi Rushi or the 9 celebrated Yogendras, who attained perfection only after being situated in the devotional service of the Lord. None of the devotees of the Lord ever deviated from the path of devotional service by taking to the other methods as adopted by Jnanis or Yogis. Everyone is anxious to achieve the highest perfection of his particular activity, and it is indicated herein that such perfection is Narayana Smriti, for which everyone must endeavor his best. In other words, life should be molded in such a manner that one is able to progressively remember the personality of Godhead in every step of life.
Okay. So Prabhupada also used to say, bhajan kar liya, sadhan kar liya, marte jaan le hai. No? What kind of sadhana we have performed, what kind of bhajan we have performed, it will be tested at a time of death. You know? So success of our life is to remember Krishna at the time of death. And we'll be able to remember Krishna at the time of death when we are practicing the whole life. Life is a preparation for the final exam called death. And this is a very peculiar exam. And this exam, there is no date sheet. Normally for all exams, we have date sheet. We get the place, we get the time, everything. For this exam, there is no date sheet. And this is an exam which no one can avoid. Other exams, we have a choice. I won't appear in this exam. No? Not everyone is required to appear for a chartered accountancy exams or competitive exam. No, I have a choice. I have an option. But this exam, everyone has to appear without date sheet. But the beautiful thing is, for this exam, Krishna has, the question paper is leaked. Everyone knows what question will be asked. What will be the question? Ante Narayana Smriti. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajati ante klevam. Krishna will check the bhav. No? Not the bhav of our plot or bhav of our property. What is the bhav? What are the emotions? What is the mentality I am carrying in my heart? So that is the question. So we know the question, and this life is meant for getting answer to that question. That is Ante Narayana Smriti. That is, the death can come at any time. It's a surprise test. So therefore one should mold his life in such a manner that one is able to progressively remember. Today should be better than yesterday, and tomorrow should be better than today. No. That's how it should go. My today's chanting should be better than yesterday's chanting, and tomorrow's chanting should be better than today's chanting. Progressively, our remembrance of Krishna should increase. Okay, and that's how that's why we have come here. We have joined the Brahmachari ashram. That we should never forget Krishna. We should mold our life. That's why we are called full-time devotees. That is, full-time we are remembering Krishna. We are supposed to in remembrance of Krishna. Full-time. It's a challenge. It's a facility given to us. We have no other job but to keep ourselves reminding of Krishna. One senior devotee was saying, Brahmacharis means being haunted by sound vibration and hunting for service. We should always be 24 hours, we should be haunted by sound vibration. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. And we should be hunting for service. That means either we are absorbed in services or we are absorbed in chanting and hearing. Ma manusmara yuddhecha. Ma manusmara means being haunted by sound vibration, and yuddhecha means hunting for services. Okay. So that's how we can always maintain our remembrance of Krishna. What are the factors which take away our remembrance of Krishna? We all know we should remember Krishna 24 hours, but still knowing this also, we go into zone where we forget Krishna. Very easily we forget Krishna. So what are those factors which cause us forget Krishna? So let us block those factors. Self-centeredness. Even if you are self-centered, I am bothered about my sadhana, that's not bad. I have to complete my rounds, I am chanting, I have to complete my sadhana. If you are self-centered like this, not bad. At least you are remembering your sadhana, you have to. Yes. Yeah, if we compare our achievement with others, so, we feel discouraged. Yeah. Social media, yes. So, at your fingertips, So, this touch screen. Someone was telling me, the person who invented this touch screen, he went in depression. He realized what big mistake he has done by inventing this touch screen. It's such an addiction, you can do anything just by touch screen. So it makes us impatient. We lose our tolerance. We want immediate result now, And that doesn't happen. We see the modern generation, they're mentally very weak. They cannot sustain pressure. Touch screen, everything should happen instantly. Yeah, social media is big distraction. It makes us forget Krishna. What else? Yeah, Prabhu. Sleep, yeah. Oversleeping. We have to sleep for 6 hours, 6-7 hours. Oversleeping. Yes. Puja, la, pratishtha. We are performing devotional service. But such weeds like today morning Maharaj was saying, anarthas come out. What else can be the reason?
Prajalpa.
Prajalpa. Yeah. And complacency. We have
not developed higher taste, you see.
We have
not developed yet higher taste.
We have developed the higher taste. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Ulterior motives, puja, la, pratishtha, or some other motives.
No gratitude.
No gratitude, So if there is no gratitude, it will lead to niyamagraham, like Maharaj was saying in the morning. We'll start performing devotional services ritualistically. So we lose taste. So if you keep gratitude, then, we save ourselves from performing services in a ritual manner. Okay. Idle mind, If you're not keeping ourselves busy, so mind will spontaneously go here and there. We are not reached that state, the mind will spontaneously think of Krishna. Spontaneously will think of sense gratification. So that's why it's very, very important that we keep ourselves always busy, engaged, hunting for services and increasing our chanting and hearing. So these are very basic things we have heard many times, but again and again Prabhupada is stressing upon this importance of chanting, hearing, devotees, association. And when we are in the association of devotees also, association of devotees meant to remind all of us the goal of our life. So we should associate in such a manner. It's very, such a nice thing. We all are getting together, discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the right way of reading, studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Alone, if we are reading, we may read, but we may skip many things. But we are discussing, then we may bring out many important points. So having together such gatherings and discussing the scriptures. So that way, Srila Prabhupada's writing, one is able to progressively remember the personality of Godhead in every step of life. Sometimes when the going gets tough, things are not happening as per our plan, so we forget Krishna, we get panic. So in every step of our life, we should develop this habit of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Once Prabhupada was, in Juhu, when the temple was being under construction, Prabhupada was sitting like this, with both his hand on the head. A disciple came, Prabhupada, what happened? Prabhupada said, this project is a big headache. So he said, yes, Prabhupada, that's why you are saying, leave this project. It's such a big headache. Prabhupada said, no, this headache gives me taste. I like this headache. So taking anxiety for Krishna. If you want, we should never forget Krishna, we should take responsibilities. If we are taking responsibilities, we are not in comfortable zone, so we'll always be in anxiety for Krishna. Okay? So that is also a way of never forgetting Krishna. Okay. Now, Parikshit Maharaj may ask, so what is the proof? What is, yes, Prabhu? Yeah. Yes, Sukadeva Goswami. It come forward in the next verse. Sukadeva Goswami will himself give his own example. Okay, next verse. Now, what is the proof? Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji has you told that we should take responsibility so that we should not forget Krishna. But sometimes the responsibility becomes so much that we completely absorb in the responsibility, and so in that situation, what should be? Sadhana भी चला जाता है, बाद में association भी उसके पीछे, the relationship also gets spoiled because of responsibility, and our behavior also become very. So just can you just?
Yeah. So sometimes it is very overwhelming. We take some services, so we compromise on our relationship, we compromise on our sadhana, we go into that zone. So, it is not responsibility, the services should not lead us to that zone. We should always maintain the balance. So the morning hours are meant for us only, good sadhana. So if we are giving good sadhana, then we are able to do services also in a nice consciousness. We should try to do that. So if it is exceeding our limit, then we should consult our authorities and modify the things. It should not lead to forgetfulness of Krishna. But if we are taking responsibility, the mind will never remain idle. We'll always keep on thinking, what next? We want some planning, meditating. That's very good. That keeps the brahmachari engaged. If that is not there, if we don't have so much of taste for chanting the holy name, reading scriptures, so what to do? Sometimes we don't have so much of services. So we are idle, and then we are thinking of nonsense. Then there's smartphone, and then we get distracted. So it's very nice to have some good responsibilities where we can engage our thinking. Yeah. Okay. So now Parikshit Maharaj may ask, what is the proof of this? Etavan Sankhya Yoga Abhyam Sautharam Panishtya Jarmalabha Parapunsam Ante Narayana Smriti. So the Sukadeva Goswami says, proof is Prayan Munayo Rajan Nivrata Vidishedata Nargunyastha Ramante Sma Godanu Kathane Hare. Yes. Please read the translation.
O King Parikshit, mainly the topmost transcendentalists who are above the regulative principles and restriction take pleasure in describing the glories of the Lord.
Yeah. Prayan, generally, Munyo, Rajan, Nivrita, Vidhi, Nishedita. So, Nivrita means they are done with rules and regulations. They are above rules and regulations. Nargunyastha. And they are situated beyond the three modes of nature. What they do? Ramante sma gunanu kathane hare. So, they take pleasures in glorifying the Lord. Okay. In the last verse, he has said, whether one is a Sankhya yogi, Karma yogi, or Ashtanga yogi, success will be measured in terms of how he remembers at the end of his life. That means everyone should take to devotional service at the end of his life. So, what is the proof? He says, many munis, generally, these sages who are beyond the three modes of nature, who are beyond the rules and regulations, they take pleasure in chanting and glorifying the Lord. Okay. So, Prayan word is used generally because there are some munis who glorify the Lord just for merging into the Brahm. Say, though they don't relish glorifying the Lord, but mostly, that's why the word mostly has been used. Okay. So, Srila Prabhupada is writing, the topmost transcendentalist is a liberated soul and is therefore not within the preview of the regulative principles. A neophyte who is intended to be promoted to the spiritual plane is guided by the spiritual master under regulative principles. He may be compared to a patient who is treated by various restrictions under medical jurisdiction. Generally, liberated souls also take pleasure in describing the transcendental activities. As mentioned above, since Narayan Hari, the personality of God, is beyond the material creation, his form attributes are not material. Okay. So further down the line, Prabhupada is writing 10-15 lines down. The topmost transcendentalist is not interested in anything material and is taking interest in the matter of Lord's activities is a definite proof that Lord is not like one of us in the material world. In the Vedic literature also it is confirmed that the Supreme Lord is one, but that he is engaged in transcendental pastimes in the company of his unalloyed devotees, and that simultaneously he is present as the super soul and expansion of Baldev in the heart of all living entities. Therefore, the highest perfection of the transcendental realization is to take pleasure in hearing and describing the transcendental qualities of the Lord and not in merging into his impersonal Brahm existence for which the impersonalist monist aspire. So here Sukadeva Goswami is establishing the topmost sadhana and topmost sadhya. There are many sadhanas, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, but the topmost sadhana is Bhakti Yoga, which will lead to remembrance of Narayan at the end of life, and that there are many sadhyas merging into impersonal Brahm, but the topmost sadhya is getting the prem of Krishna, love of Krishna. So, any specific example of this? Then Sukadeva Goswami gives his own example. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Adhitvan Dvapar Adav Pitru Dvaipayanad Aham. Yes, translation.
At the end of Dwapar Yuga, I studied this great supplement of Vedic literature named Srimad Bhagavatam, which is equal to all Vedas from my father, Srila Dvaipayan Vyasdev.
Yeah, so I have heard it from my father, Dvaipayan Vyasdev, at the end of Dwapar Yuga. Now in the words it is come Dwaparado. Ado means in the beginning of Dwapar Yuga, but our acharyas have translated as it is the end of Dwapar Yuga. Okay. So why it is so Prabhupada mentioned in the purport? You can read the purport from this line. It is called Brahm Samhitam. Middle of the purport. So in one paragraph only, yes. Almost at the end, middle. It is called Brahm Samhitam.
As stated in the beginning of this book, it is the it is the essence of Vedic desire tree and the natural commentary on the Brahma Sutra, the topmost philosophical thesis on the subject matter of Brahman. Vyasdev appeared at the end of Dwapar Yuga at the son of Satyavati, and therefore the word Dwapar Adav, or the beginning of Dwapar Yuga in this context, means just prior to the beginning of Kali Yuga. The logic of this statement, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, is comparable to that of calling the upper portion of the tree the beginning. The root of the tree is the beginning of the tree, but in common knowledge, the upper portion of the tree is seen first. In that way, the end of the tree is accepted as its beginning.
Okay. When we describe a tree, we may see from the beginning to end. So normally the beginning is the root and end is the crown. But when we see the tree, we will see the crown first and the root last. So that way Dwaparado means end of the Dwapar Yoga. That means when the Dwapar is about to end. Or the beginning of the end of the Dwapar Yoga. All the yugas are divided into 3 sandhyas. 10% of the beginning, 10% of the last sandhyas, and 80% is the middle sandhya. So then last sandhya, you can say. So beginning of the last sandhya, that is Dwaparado. Okay. 9th, Parinishthito api nirgunya uttam shloka leelaya karhit rajarishe आख्यानाम यत धीतवान.
O saintly king, I was certainly situated perfectly in transcendence, yet I was still attracted by the delineation of the pastime of the Lord, who is described by enlightened verses.
Yeah. So now he is describing his own story, how he got attracted. He was parinishito api, nirgunya. He was completely fully self-realized. Nirgunya, he was in transcendental stage, still Uttam Shloka Leelaya. He was attracted by the pastimes of the Lord. Then Grahit Cheta Rajarishi. He was so much attracted. Then what he did? Akhyane Yat Dhituvan. Then I studied it from my father. Okay. So then he can say, I am the proof that the pastimes of the Lord are sweeter than the realization of the Brahm. Atmaramasya munyo nirganthapi urikrame kurvanti hetuki bhakti itham bhuta guno hari. Okay. So I am the proof, he is saying. Okay. So that way, Prabhupada is writing in the end of the purport. A person like Sukadeva Goswami cannot be attracted by any mundane activity. But when such a devotee is convinced by superior method, he is certainly attracted by the transcendental activities of the Lord. The Lord is transcendental, as are his activities. He is neither inactive nor impersonal. Okay. Now, in the 10th verse, he is giving the Fal Shruti. What will be the Fal Shruti Fal of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam? Tadaham te abhidisyami Mahapaurishiko bhavan Yasya shadadata mashru Syat mukunde mati sati. Yes, please.
That very Srimad Bhagavatam I shall recite before you, because you are the most sincere devotee of Lord Krishna, one who gives full attention and respect to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, achieves unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord, the giver of salvation.
Okay. So tadaham, that I am te unto you, adhishyami, I will recite. Mahapurushuke, he is praising Parikshit Maharaj as Mahapurush. Yasya shadhatam ashu, if it is heard with faith, ashu means very soon, what will result in? Syat mukunde mati sati. You will develop an unflinching intelligence or faith for Mukunda, or giver of liberation. Purport, please. Whole purport we can read.
Srimad Bhagavatam is recognized Vedic wisdom, and the system of receiving Vedic knowledge is called Avaroha Panta, or the process of receiving
transcendental knowledge through bona fide disciplic succession. For advancement of material knowledge, there is a need for personal ability and researching aptitude. But in the case of spiritual knowledge, all progress depends more or less on the mercy of the spiritual master.
Now, it is Avaroha Pantha, descending process. For getting material knowledge, one needs personal ability, researching aptitude. But for receiving transcendental knowledge, it depends more or less on the mercy of spiritual master. So does it mean that for receiving transcendental knowledge, we don't need to use our intelligence? Independently thoughtful. Okay. That does not mean, yes, that we don't need intelligence to understand spiritual knowledge. Sometimes people think, okay, in spiritual life, we don't have to use our intelligence. No, we have to use our intelligence. So next line clarifies, Prabhupada clarifies. Yeah.
The spiritual master must be satisfied with the disciple. Only then is knowledge automatically manifest before the student of spiritual science.
Yeah.
The process should not, however, be misunderstood to be something like magical feats, whereby the spiritual master acts like a magician and injects spiritual knowledge into his disciple, as if surcharging him with an electrical current.
You understood what Prabhupada is indicating to whom? Yeah. So after touching, he fell down and started crying. Now I'm blank. All knowledge I have transferred to you. So it's not like that. And we have this kind of tendency. Prabhuji, sar pe haath rakh do bas, Sar pe haath rakh do, sara current. Not like that. We have to work hard to please our spiritual master. So the blessings come from his heart. It's heart-to-heart connection. Diksha is a heart-to-heart connection. It's not a formality. Just by touching each other, we won't get anything. We have to please. We have to work hard to please him, to serve him. Then we'll get that knowledge. And we have to use our intelligence how to please my spiritual master. Okay. That way. Then the knowledge Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita. Okay. Next, please.
The bona fide spiritual master reasonably explains everything to the disciple on the authorities of Vedic wisdom. The disciple can receive such teachings not exactly intellectually, but by submissive inquiries and a service attitude.
Yes.
The idea is that both the spiritual master and the disciple must be bona fide. In this case, the spiritual master Sukadeva Goswami is ready to recite exactly what he has learned from his great father Srila Vyasadeva. And the disciple Maharaj Parikshit is a great devotee of Lord Krishna. A devotee of Lord Krishna is he who believes sincerely that by becoming a devotee of the Lord, one becomes fully equipped with everything spiritual. This teaching is imparted by the Lord himself in the pages of the Bhagavad Gita, in which it is clearly described that the Lord Sri Krishna is everything, and that to surrender unto him solely and wholly makes one the most perfectly pious man. The unflinching faith in Lord Krishna prepares one to become a student of Srimad Bhagavatam, and one who hears Srimad Bhagavatam from a devotee like Sukadeva Goswami is sure to attain salvation at the end, as Maharaj Parikshit did.
Yeah. Please. Yes.
The professional reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam and the pseudo devotees whose faith is based on 1 week's hearing are different from Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit. Srila Vyasadeva explained Srimad Bhagavatam unto Sukadeva Goswami from the very beginning of the Janmadhyasya verse. And so Sukadeva Goswami also explained it to the king. Lord Krishna is described as the Mahapurusha in the Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 11, in his devotional feature as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself in his devotional attitude, descended on earth to bestow special favors upon the fallen souls of this age of Kali. There are two verses particularly suitable to offer as prayers to this Mahapurusha feature of Lord Krishna.
Yeah.
Dhyeyam sada paribhavagnam abhishtadoham tirdaspodam shiva virinchinutam saranyam Prithyadeham pranatapala bhavabdipotam Vande Mahapurushate charanarvindam Tyaktva sudushtyaja surepshitarajya lakshmim Dharmishta aryavachasaya dagadaranyam Maya vrigam daitayepsitamanvadavad Vande Mahapurushate charanarvindam. In other words, Purusha means enjoyer and Mahapurusha means the supreme enjoyer or the supreme personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. One who deserves to approach the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is called the Mahapaurushika. Anyone who hears Srimad Bhagavatam attentively from its bona fide reciter is sure to become a sincere devotee of the Lord, who is able to award liberation. There was none so attentive as Maharaj Parikshit in the matter of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and there was none so qualified as Sukadeva Goswami to recite the text of Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, anyone who follows in the footsteps of either the ideal reciter or the ideal hearer, Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit respectively, will undoubtedly attain salvation like them. Maharaj Parikshit attained salvation by hearing only, and Sukadeva Goswami attained salvation only by reciting. Reciting and hearing are two processes out of 9 devotional activities, and by strenuously following these principles, either in all or by parts, one can attain the absolute plane. So the complete text of Srimad Bhagavatam, beginning with the Janmadhyasa verse up to the last one in the 12th canto, was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami for the attainment of salvation by Maharaj Parikshit. In the Padma Puran, it is mentioned that Gautam Muni advised Maharaj Ambarish to hear regularly Srimad Bhagavatam as it was recited by Sukadeva Goswami. And herein it is confirmed that Maharaj Ambarish heard Srimad Bhagavatam from the very beginning to the end, as it was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami. One who is actually interested in Bhagavatam, therefore, must not play with it by reading or hearing a portion from here and portion from there. One must follow in the footsteps of great kings like Maharaj Ambarish or Maharaj Parikshit and hear it from a bona fide.
Vidur submits to Maitre Muni. You have told me everything about soul, super soul creation. I have this knowledge, but it will become realization only if I serve your lotus feet. So by serving the spiritual master, the knowledge is transformed into realization. No? We have this knowledge, I am not this body, I am the soul. Well, realization will come by the mercy of the spiritual master if he pleases his heart. By his mercy, the knowledge will be revealed. And here Shukdev Goswami is calling Parikshit Maharaj Mahapurushik. Generally Prabhupada is saying the Mahapurush, Purusha means enjoyer, Mahapurush means the supreme enjoyer. But one who approaches the Mahapurush is Mahapurushik. So this also shows that the speaker should have high appreciation for the audience. Okay. Parikshit Maharaj glorified Shukdev Goswami. Shukdev Goswami is glorifying Parikshit Maharaj. So G. Goswami Pad also says, our preaching will be successful if we have respect for the audience. If we don't have respect for the audience, preaching won't be effective. Sometimes we going in this preaching mode, yaar aage sabko kya samjhaya, bekar log hai, no. Sometimes if you have a superiority complex or these people know nothing, I'm superior to them, preaching won't have any effect. It won't touch their heart. So we should have respect for our audience, because the other audience, in everyone's heart the super soul is there. If the audience, we should see the audience is sincere. If they are sincere, then Super Soul will inspire us to speak the things which are applicable to them. So we should have high respect for the audience also. And the audience should have good respect for the speaker. Then this transaction will happen. Then the communication will start. Okay. If there is no respect, mutual respect, appreciation, so the effect won't come. Okay. That is the point. So now, in the fifth word, it said, Tasmat Bharat Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishwar Ishortave Kitichavasya Smartavasya Ichitabhayam. Now in the 11th one, it says, of these three processes, Shravan, Kirtan and Sparan, which is the most important? Shravanam. But he is saying here, Hare Namanu Kirtanam, 11th verse. Shravan is also important, we'll discuss that. Eta nirvidemana nam Ichitam akuto bhayam yoginam nipnaritam Harer namanu kirtanam. Yes, Prabhuji, please.
O King, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge.
So, eta nirvidyamananam ichitam akuto bhayam. Akuto bhayam means the doubtless, or free from all doubts and fear. Yoginam nipniritam, O Nrip, O King Niritam, it has been decided. It's not just my opinion, it has been decided in the past that Harere Namanu Kirtanam. Anu Kirtanam means Anu has two meanings. What are the two meanings of Anu? Following. And second meaning is continuous. So constant, and by following the ways of the authorities, if we do the Kirtan, this is the decided, already decided, confirmed way, doubtless and fearless way of achieving perfection for all kinds of, all categories of people. Nirvidyamananam, those who are free from material desires. Ichitam, those are full of material desires. Yogina, those who are self-realized. So those are full of desires, those who are self-realized, those are free from material desires, for them it is already decided the way of perfection is Harer Namanu Kirtanam. You know, constant chanting, following the ways of authority is the best way of perfection. Okay, so this is what it means. Now it may be asked, when Parikshit Maharaj has been told this is the only way, Sukadeva Goswami must have stopped here. This is the conclusion. Okay, you should chant, you should hear, and you should remember Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of these three, Hare Namanu Kirtan is the best. Okay, Parikshit Maharaj, almost 7 days are left, go for it. Okay, Bhagavatam should have ended here, and all of them should have started Kirtan, Hare Namanu Kirtan. And by doing Kirtan only, he would have gone back to bed. Then why he continued everything for 7 days? For Parikshit Maharaj was asking, now what should I do? What is the good for the people in general? And here he is saying, Hare Namanu Kirtanam. And we have only 7 days left, emergency situation, immediately come to this and start.
Without knowledge of the Greek Lord, chanting will not be effective.
Yeah, very good point. Because Hare Namanu Kirtan will be effective, it is done with faith. Okay. And the faith will come by hearing. That's why hearing is very, very important. In fact, all the limbs of devotional service become more potent if they are accompanied by hearing. If you are just chanting, not hearing, chanting won't be effective. Smaranam, without hearing, no smaranam. Archanam, padsevanam, vandanam, dasyam, sakyam. All the limbs of devotional service, hearing gives them the life, hearing gives them the faith. So that's why you have to chant continuously the holy names of the Lord, but we should chant with faith. And the faith will come if you hear more and more. That's why when Lord Chaitanya was initiated by Ishwar Puripad instructed Lord Chaitanya to daily read Srimad Bhagavatam scrutinizingly. Okay. Because by daily reading Srimad Bhagavatam scrutinizingly, one develops attraction for chanting of the holy name. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj also said, Hari Katha is the Sarup Shakti of Hari Nam. And the holy name will get the potency by Hari Katha. Okay, so that's how all this Shravan is very, very important. Okay, Srila Prabhupada is writing in the middle of the purport. Okay, here it is mentioned that one should constantly chant the holy name of the Lord after hearing it from the authorities. You got it? In the middle of the purport. Okay, someone can read from there.
Here it is mentioned that one should constantly chant the holy name of the Lord after hearing it from the authorities. This means that hearing from the authorities is the first essential. Hearing of the holy name gradually promotes one to the stage of hearing about his form, about his attributes, his pastimes, and so on. And thus the necessity of chanting of his glories develops successively. This process is recommended not only for the successful execution of devotional service, but also even for those who are materially attached. According to Srila Sukadeva Goswami, this way of attaining success is an established fact, concluded not only by him, but also by all other previous acharyas. Therefore, there is no need of further evidence. The process is recommended not only for the progressive students in different departments of ideological success, but also for those who are already successful in their achievement as fruitive workers, as philosophers, or as devotees of the Lord. Srila Jiva Goswami instructs that chanting of the holy name of the Lord should be loudly done, and it should be performed offenselessly, as always as recommended in the Padma Purana. One can deliver himself from the effects of all sins by surrendering himself unto the Lord. One can deliver himself from all offenses at the feet of the Lord by taking shelter of his holy name. But one cannot protect himself if one commits an offense at the feet of the holy name of the Lord.
Okay. So one can overcome the offenses by taking to the deity worship, but in the deity worship also we may commit offenses. So those offenses are countered by chanting the holy name. But if we commit offenses against the holy name, it's very difficult. Then we have to take shelter of holy name only. So in the next two paragraphs, Prabhupada describes about the different offenses. So Jiva Goswami is saying, Hare Namanukirtanam will be effective if it is chanted without offenses. Okay. Okay. And he said in the last paragraph, in this paragraph, last line, similarly, since the holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord, one should not try to utilize the holy name for one's personal service. Okay. Then it is the last paragraph, 4-5 lines from the bottom. The effect of chanting the holy name of the Lord is perceived by the chanter as liberation from the conception of false egoism. False egoism is exhibited by thinking oneself to be the enjoyer of the world and thinking everything in the world to be meant for the enjoyment of oneself only. The whole materialistic world is moving under such false egoism of I and mine, but the actual effect of the chanting of the holy name is to become free from such misconceptions. So this is very important. Okay. So this is how, this is the 10th offense basically. Despite hearing so many glories of the Lord, maintaining the material attachments of me and mine. And it can go only by chanting of the holy name. Yes, Babu? Utilizing the holy name for one's personal service. Yes, who would like to comment on this?
Same question I also thought, but it's my understanding that for being a devotee, for the namesake being a devotee, it means is that like,
Yeah. Or using the holy name of the Lord as a karma kand for getting something material benefits. Fifth offense, eighth offense is there, no? Eighth offense. Considering as a karma kandi activity for attaining some material benefits.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, this line which we just read, hearing of the holy name gradually promotes one to the stage of hearing about his form, attributes, pastimes and so on. So what does this mean, Prabhuji, that what will happen? Today also I can take a topic, lecture on this topic of form of the Lord and start hearing. So what is this change which will happen? I will read this, Prabhuji. Hearing of the holy name gradually promotes one to the stage of hearing about his form.
It will happen, Prabhuji, don't worry. Have faith, it will happen. So from the name, form will appear, from the form, the qualities will appear and the pastimes. That means if you are chanting attentively, gradually when we are hearing the name, automatically the form of Radharas Bihari will appear. From the name only. And then slowly we'll see all his qualities and then his pastimes. The name will reveal everything.
Prabhuji, here it is written that gradually promoting to the stage of hearing about the form.
Yeah.
Stage of hearing about the form. What does this mean, Prabhuji?
I mean, you will relish his form. You will relish hearing about his form, activities, qualities. The name will reveal. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Prabhuji.
In this first 10 offenses are explained in this paragraph. The second offense is explained here. It seems to be like generally we comparing the names of the Lord with Brahma and Shiva and other names. But here it seems to me like the sixth offense.
What is there? Second offense?
The second offense is to see the holy names of the Lord in terms of worldly distinction, and it goes on how Lord is proprietor, controller, enjoyer.
The second offense is to see the Holy Lord in terms of worldly distinction. The Lord is proprietor of all the universes and therefore he may be known in different places by different. Any nomenclature which is meant for the all meant for the Lord. Names are this. Okay, that means we say to equate the names of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva with the Lord, because they are the controllers, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. So he is making it general, Prabhupada is making it general. Not even Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, any name of worldly distinction, any powerful personality, we should not equate it with the Lord. I know. That one. Okay. Yeah.
Prabhuji, in terms of seva, we want the success. We want the success in seva. Then we see many devotees are chanting, praying in the mood that we want to be successful in practical seva. So is that the right way? Like, does it not fall into the karma kand? We are desiring something in return of chanting.
It's not so bad. I desire success in my book distribution. I desire success in my preaching. Okay. And this desire may be mixed for the prayer of the Lord also, for my pleasure also. I want success. I want to taste the juice of success. So for so long I have been struggling. I am not getting success. So please, Lord, give me success. It may be that way also. But because it is related with the service of the Lord, it's purifying. It is not the ideal way to chant. It's not the ideal way. Ideal way is for the pleasure of the Lord. Okay. But we are being too much haunted by this this thought that I have to get, I want success, I want success. For that I'm depending on Lord and chanting His name. Please give me success in this. You know. Right. Okay, should we have a break? We have Nimbu Pani also, and then we have Gayatri also. Okay. So it's now 12:18. So we'll assemble at 12:30. Yes, thank you.